Hello there, and welcome to the channel. Well, here we are in a Tuesday, and I want to talk to you a little bit about teacher innovation. I loved reinventing the wheel. I loved it. If there was any element of my classroom work that I enjoyed more than curriculum design, I can't think of it. I loved teaching. I loved being in the room and working with the kids, but planning what we were going to do, designing it, and refining it through the years, nothing was more fun to me. And I suspect that there's a fair number of teachers out there who feel the same way. Not all of them. Not all teachers love curriculum design the way I did. But I absolutely loved reinventing the wheel every time. I loved designing classes. I loved planning classes. I loved looking back on the material and figuring out what worked best and redesigning it so that it worked even better. I found through the years that when I was designing assignments, I'd get an assignment done and I'd look at it and I'd say, well, this and this and this were the problems. And I'd think about it, and by the next year, I'd have solved those problems and gotten an even better design going in my material. Now, why am I talking about reinventing the wheel with you? Because there is, and always has been, and I suspect always will be, a set of people who wish to control teachers in some really weird and unproductive ways. And one of the ways that they seek to control people is through curriculum design. They'll say, we want you to do the assignment this way. And everybody do it that way, and everybody do it the same day, the same way. That pressure is always there. Now, some teachers are better at dealing with this pressure than I was. I really struggled against people who would say, look, we want you to teach this and we want you to teach it this way. Say this, do this. That got all over me. And so what I discovered in the process of facing that with a lot of programs was you can close the door and do the job. Now, what I mean by that, I'll have to put it in a framework that makes sense. Nearly everybody who's ever gone to high school in the United States has written a 5-paragraph theme. A 5-paragraph theme is an essay that has an introductory paragraph that's last sentence is a thesis statement, then 3 discussion paragraphs, sometimes referred to as the body, and then a conclusion paragraph that restates the thesis in a modified form and summarizes the argument. That's the 5-paragraph theme. It is completely artificial. The 5-paragraph theme is completely artificial. I dare you to find a 5-paragraph theme published and paid for by a magazine or a newspaper. They don't exist. 5-paragraph themes are not for the purpose of actual communication. 5-paragraph themes are designed to give students a structure on which to hang their first writing experiences. And the 5-paragraph theme is convenient because it's short. It gives students a short structure to follow. But while I was teaching, somebody came up with a 5-paragraph theme that was long and complicated, and then came to the schools and sold them on every English teacher making that assignment and making students write that. So that not only did it have the 5 paragraphs, but it had a very specific 10-sentence body paragraph every paragraph in the body of the essay, in the discussion portion, was 10 sentences long. Now that runs counter to all good systems of writing design, because that level of predictability is not engaging, it's deadening. Right, I will tell you right now, writing that has all the same length sentences, all the same length paragraphs, all the same structures is so boring as to be almost hypnotic. I had a poorly written geology textbook in college. Nearly every sentence was long. All the paragraphs were the same lengths. I would start reading that book and I would fall asleep immediately. Because it's hypnosis. That is not how we communicate. We use variety of tone, of structure, of length to help give texture and engagement to writing. So when this company came and sold this to the Roswell Independent School District, to the high school programs, they sold it first to Roswell High. And then they came to Goddard and said, all the teachers at Roswell High are doing this, so you're all going to do it too. Because we have no evidence that it actually works, but we believe the people who brought it to us, so you just do it. Here I was. I had degrees, 2 degrees in writing. I had a degree in experimental psychology. All of them made me revolt against this system. And then something amazing happened. One of the high school teachers from Roswell High moved to Goddard. And so when he showed up, I went over and said, look, I'm trying to teach this thing that they're requiring us to teach. And I said, and I understand you guys at Roswell High taught it. Okay, so how do you do that body paragraph? How do you teach them to do it? What? Those people were not teaching that. They just said they were teaching it and went on with what they were doing. I have always objected to this stuff because if I say I'm going to do something, I, by God, do it. That's a rule for me. So I had to figure out how to make that system work. Now, I sort of did. I sort of was able to make it work. I explained it to the kids. I showed it to the kids. I worked it. I worked it for years so that I could show them how to do it and show them how to do it that was in a way approaching interesting. You cannot make that thing interesting. I've tried. But the thing is, in the end, I made it work because I was determined to make it work, and I was determined to uphold what I said I would do. But the truth is that people do what they're going to do. So the best way to have teachers that are good and strong and produce good student effect is to hire educated, intelligent, driven people and let them do the work. Get out of the way. People who don't do the work should not tell people who do the work how to do the work. They should let these people pursue their education, pursue their work, and pursue their teaching so that the best teaching takes place. If you try to interfere with that, you don't get good teaching, you just get mostly good lying. That's it for today. I hope you have a glorious day, and I hope you see me again, you gorgeous people.